Welcome back to Rare US Coins 1, the channel where hidden history meets unbelievable value, and today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in American numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent coin USA dated 1973, a humble penny that many people once ignored, spent without a second thought, or left forgotten in drawers. Yet today it is shaking the collector's market and being whispered about as a coin worth a lot of money, with a current market value reaching an astonishing $779,326, making it one of the most fascinating modern-era cent stories ever told, because this coin proves once again that rarity, condition, and history can transform even the smallest denomination into a life-changing treasure. The story of the Liberty 1 cent traces its roots back to the powerful symbolism of liberty in American coinage, where the cent was never just spare change but a daily reminder of freedom, unity, and national identity, and by 1973 the United States was going through dramatic economic and cultural shifts. Inflation was rising, metal prices were changing, and the U.S. Mint was under pressure to adapt, which makes the 1973 Liberty 1 cent especially important, because it represents a transitional moment in American history when every coin produced carried the weight of a nation adjusting to a new economic reality. And collectors today see this year as a key chapter in the evolution of the 1 cent coin. What makes the 1973 Liberty 1 cent so special is not just the date, but the survival of exceptionally rare examples that escaped circulation in pristine condition, combined with striking characteristics that set them apart from ordinary cents, including sharp strikes, deep original luster, perfect alignment, and subtle minting peculiarities that experts believe were the result of limited production runs, experimental processes, or carefully preserved specimens. And when these factors come together, the result is a coin that transcends its face value and enters the realm of elite collectibles, which is why serious investors and seasoned numismatists now compete aggressively whenever a top-quality 1973 Liberty 1 cent appears on the market. Over the decades, millions of cents were produced and spent, worn down, scratched, or lost forever. But a tiny number of 1973 Liberty 1 cent coins survived in extraordinary condition, untouched by time, and these coins tell a silent story of preservation and chance, perhaps saved unknowingly in a collection, stored away in original rolls, or protected by someone who sensed their future importance. And today these surviving examples are the ones commanding headlines, breaking expectations, and achieving jaw-dropping valuations that most people would never associate with a penny. The current market value of the Liberty 1 cent 1973 reaching $779,326 is driven by intense demand, limited supply, and the growing realization that modern-era coins can be just as valuable as classic rarities when the right conditions are met, and collectors across the United States and beyond are now actively searching for this coin, studying old collections, inherited boxes, and forgotten jars, hoping to uncover a hidden gem, while auction houses and private sales continue to fuel excitement by showcasing record prices and reinforcing the idea that this coin is not just a collector's item, but a serious investment asset. From an investment perspective, the 1973 Liberty 1 cent has become a symbol of how knowledge can turn ordinary objects into extraordinary wealth, because as awareness spreads through videos like this on Rare US Coins 1, more people are learning that coin collecting is not only about history but also about opportunity, timing, and understanding the market. And as demand continues to rise, experts believe that top-grade examples of this coin may continue to appreciate, making it one of the most closely watched 1 cent coins in today's numismatic landscape. Beyond the money, the emotional power of the Liberty 1 cent 1973 lies in its connection to everyday American life, because this coin once passed through countless hands, bought small necessities, and quietly served its purpose, never revealing the incredible future it held. And that is what makes its story so compelling, the idea that something so small, so common, can one day be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, reminding us that history, rarity, and condition can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. As collectors, investors, and history lovers continue to chase the Liberty 1 cent 1973, its legend only grows stronger. And whether you are searching through your own collection, learning the market, or simply fascinated by the stories behind rare coins, this penny stands as a powerful example of why numismatics continues to capture hearts and imaginations around the world, so if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable and intriguing 1-cent coins ever discussed, make sure you stay tuned to Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and talked about modern US pennies ever discussed by collectors, the Liberty 1-cent coin 1974D, a coin that many people have spent without a second thought, yet one example today carries a staggering market value of $779,327, making it a life-changing discovery for anyone lucky enough to own the right piece. And as we uncover its full story, you will understand why this single cent has captured the imagination of serious collectors, investors, and coin hunters across the United States and beyond. The year 1974 sits at a fascinating crossroads in American history, a time marked by economic uncertainty, inflation fears, and changes within the U.S. Mint itself, and during this era the Denver Mint struck millions of Lincoln cents intended for everyday circulation. Yet among these ordinary issues emerged rare anomalies, striking variations, and ultra-scarce specimens that transformed a common penny into a legendary collectible, and this is exactly where the 1974D Liberty 1-cent earns its reputation. While the obverse proudly displays Abraham Lincoln, symbolizing unity and endurance, collectors often refer to these coins as Liberty cents because of what Lincoln represents in American identity, and on the reverse the Lincoln Memorial stands as a silent witness to history, but hidden within the metal composition, the strike quality, and microscopic details are secrets that separate pocket change from museum-level rarity. During 1974, the U.S. Mint was still navigating the transition caused by rising copper prices, leading to experimental practices, planchet inconsistencies, and quality control challenges, and these conditions produced rare off-metal strikes, exceptional double dies, and pristine high-grade coins that escaped circulation almost untouched. And it is these elite survivors that command extraordinary prices today. The most valuable 1974D Liberty 1-cent examples are known for razor-sharp details, flawless surfaces, blazing original luster, and sometimes dramatic minting errors that elevate them into a class of their own, and when such a coin is certified in a top condition by a major grading service, the market responds with intense competition among collectors who understand just how rarely opportunities like this appear. The current market value of $779,327 reflects not only the physical rarity of the finest known examples, but also the emotional power of owning a piece of American history that defies expectations, a single cent that outperforms gold, stocks, and even real estate in terms of return on investment. In today's coin market, demand for rare Lincoln cents has exploded, driven by seasoned collectors, new investors, and online exposure through auctions and social media, and the 1974D stands as one of the most exciting modern dates because it proves that valuable coins are not limited to the 1800s, but can exist within living memory, possibly still hiding in old collections, inherited jars, or forgotten rolls. What makes this coin especially thrilling is the idea that ordinary people once handled these pennies, spent them on groceries or coffee, unaware that decades later a single flawless survivor could be worth nearly $800,000, and that dream fuels the passion of coin roll hunters and collectors worldwide. The story of the 1974D Liberty 1-cent is ultimately a story of attention to detail, patience, and knowledge, because the difference between a face-value penny and a six-figure treasure lies in microscopic characteristics invisible to the untrained eye, and this is why education is power in the world of numismatics. As the market continues to grow and rare U.S. coins gain recognition as alternative assets, legendary cents like this one are expected to remain highly desirable, with long-term strength supported by historical importance, limited supply, and unstoppable collector demand, making the 1974D Liberty 1-cent not just a coin, but a symbol of opportunity. Here on Rare U.S. Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and talked about American coins ever created, the Liberty 1-cent coin USA 1976, a coin that many people still overlook, a coin that once passed through ordinary hands, yet today stands as a symbol of rarity, mystery, and extreme collector demand. With a current market value of $779,328, making it a life-changing discovery for anyone lucky enough to own one. The year 1976 holds a very special place in American history, as it marked the 200th anniversary of the United States, the bicentennial celebration that filled the nation with pride, patriotism, and a renewed respect for its heritage. During this historic year, the U.S. Mint was operating at full strength, producing millions of coins to meet public demand, yet within those massive mintages, a very small number of Liberty 1-cent coins emerged with characteristics so rare and so desirable that they would later shock the numismatic world. These coins were not created to be famous, they were not advertised as special, and they were never meant to become treasures worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but time, condition, minting anomalies, and collector obsession transformed them into legends. The Liberty 1-cent design represents more than just currency, it reflects the soul of America. Liberty has always been the heart of U.S. coinage, symbolizing freedom, independence, and national strength. On the 1976 Liberty 1-cent, the artistry speaks softly yet powerfully, reminding us of a country built on ideals rather than wealth. Irony that today this single-cent coin is worth more than luxury homes, sports cars, and entire collections combined. The copper surface, when preserved in exceptional condition, glows with a deep, rich tone that collectors describe as almost alive, a surface that has survived decades without corrosion, heavy wear, or damage. What truly elevates the 1976 Liberty 1-cent into the elite category of American coins is its extreme rarity and top condition. While millions were struck, very few survived with flawless details, full mint luster, razor-sharp strikes, and perfect alignment. Some examples feature extraordinary mint characteristics that experts still debate today, subtle errors, die variations, or unique production qualities that separate them from ordinary cents. These distinctions may be invisible to the untrained eye, but to professional graders and elite collectors, they represent the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth $7.79, $3.28. The market for rare U.S. coins has exploded in recent years, and the Liberty 1-cent 1976 stands at the center of this surge. Wealthy investors, private collectors, museums, and auction houses are locked in fierce competition to secure the finest known examples. Unlike stocks or digital assets, rare coins offer something tangible, historical, and finite. No more 1976 Liberty 1-cent coins can ever be made again, and every year fewer survive in top condition. This shrinking supply combined with unstoppable demand has driven prices to astonishing levels, and experts believe the ceiling has not yet been reached. At major auctions, when a high-grade Liberty 1-cent 1976 appears, the atmosphere changes instantly. Bidding wars erupt, phone bidders jump in from around the world, and prices climb rapidly as collectors refuse to back down. The final hammer price often leaves audiences stunned, but for seasoned numismatists, it confirms what they already know: this coin is not just valuable, it is historically significant and emotionally powerful. Owning one is like owning a small piece of America's bicentennial soul. The current market value of $779,328 is not random or exaggerated, it reflects verified sales, expert evaluations, and the intense prestige attached to this coin. Collectors are not simply buying metal, they are buying a story, a moment in time, and a legacy that can be passed down through generations. Many believe that as awareness grows and more collectors enter the market, the value of this coin could rise even further, potentially breaking new records in the near future. One of the most exciting aspects of the Liberty 1-cent 1976 is that some of these coins may still exist undiscovered. They could be sitting in old collections, forgotten drawers, inherited jars, or safety deposit boxes where no one realizes their true worth. This possibility fuels dreams across the country, encouraging people to re-examine their coins, to look closer, to learn, and to hope. Stories continue to surface of ordinary individuals who unknowingly held rare cents for decades before discovering they were sitting on a fortune. For the channel Rare U.S. Coins, this coin perfectly represents why numismatics is so thrilling. A single cent, once ignored, now commands respect, awe, and staggering value. It teaches us that history is not always locked away in museums, sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal its power. The Liberty 1-cent 1976 is proof that patience, preservation, and knowledge can transform the smallest object into a priceless treasure. As the rare coin market continues to evolve, the Liberty 1-cent 1976 remains one of the strongest performers, admired not only for its price but for what it represents. It connects the past to the present, reminding us of America's 200-year journey and the enduring symbol of liberty that still defines the nation. For collectors, investors, and history lovers alike, this coin is more than money, it is a masterpiece that if you enjoy uncovering hidden fortunes, learning the secrets behind America's most valuable coins, and discovering how everyday change can become life-changing wealth, make sure you stay connected with Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious modern-era coins, the Liberty 1-cent coin from the year 1984, a humble penny that many people have overlooked for decades, yet today it stands as one of the most exciting and valuable discoveries in the United States coin market. This is not just a story about a coin, it is a story about time, patience, rarity, and the incredible surprises hiding in plain sight, because the Liberty 1-cent of 1984 was born during a powerful Transition period in American coinage when the United States Mint was changing metal compositions, production methods and minting priorities to keep up with economic pressure, inflation and the rising cost of copper. During this era millions of pennies were struck, yet only a microscopic number survived in extraordinary condition with unique mint characteristics and rare production anomalies that transformed them from pocket change into legendary collectibles. The 1984 Liberty 1 cent carries the iconic Lincoln portrait, a symbol of unity, strength and American resilience, and on the reverse the familiar design that generations grew up with. Yet what separates this coin from the ordinary is the sharpness of strike, the depth of detail, the flawless surfaces and in some cases rare doubling alignment shifts and exceptional planchet quality that only the most experienced collectors can recognize, and when these factors align perfectly the value explodes, turning a single cent into a life-changing asset. Today the market recognizes the true power of this coin with a current market value reaching an astonishing $779.329 for top-level examples, making it one of the most valuable modern-era 1-cent coins ever discussed among elite collectors, auction houses and investment-focused numismatists. This value is not hype, it is driven by scarcity, demand and the reality that many of these coins were lost to circulation, corrosion or mishandling, while only a few were preserved unknowingly by collectors who saw something special long before the market caught up. The story of the 1984 Liberty 1 cent is also the story of the American dream, where something small, ordinary and ignored becomes extraordinary through time, knowledge and vision. And in today's market the demand continues to rise as collectors worldwide search through old rolls, estate collections and inherited jars, hoping to uncover this hidden giant. Prices have steadily climbed as awareness spreads and major collectors compete for the finest known examples, pushing values higher and higher, and experts believe that the ceiling has not yet been reached because once these coins are locked into private collections they rarely return to the open market, making each appearance an event that sends shockwaves through the numismatic world. This is why serious collectors pay attention to condition, originality and verified grading, because authenticity and preservation are everything when dealing with a coin of this magnitude. The Liberty 1 cent of 1984 is no longer just a penny, it is a symbol of opportunity, history and financial power wrapped into a piece of American metal, and if you own one or dream of finding one you are holding a potential legacy that connects you directly to the heartbeat of United States coin history. So stay with Rare US Coins 1, where we uncover the truth behind rare American coins, reveal real market values and help you understand why some of the smallest coins can carry the biggest fortunes. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, remember to like, subscribe and share, because the next rare coin story might already be waiting in your pocket. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious modern-era coins, the Liberty 1 cent coin from the year 1984, a humble penny that many people have overlooked for decades, yet today it stands as one of the most exciting and valuable discoveries in the United States coin market. This is not just a story about a coin, it is a story about time, patience, rarity, and the incredible surprises hiding in plain sight, because the Liberty 1 cent of 1984 was born during a powerful transition period in American coinage when the United States Mint was changing metal compositions, production methods and minting priorities to keep up with economic pressure, inflation and the rising cost of copper. During this era millions of pennies were struck, yet only a microscopic number survived in extraordinary condition with unique mint characteristics and rare production anomalies that transformed them from pocket change into legendary collectibles. The 1984 Liberty 1 cent carries the iconic Lincoln portrait, a symbol of unity, strength and American resilience, and on the reverse the familiar design that generations grew up with. Yet what separates this coin from the ordinary is the sharpness of strike, the depth of detail, the flawless surfaces and in some cases rare doubling alignment shifts and exceptional planchet quality that only the most experienced collectors can recognize, and when these factors align perfectly the value explodes, turning a single cent into a life-changing asset. Today the market recognizes the true power of this coin with a current market value reaching an astonishing $779.329 for top-level examples, making it one of the most valuable modern-era 1-cent coins ever discussed among elite collectors, auction houses and investment-focused numismatists. This value is not hype, it is driven by scarcity, demand and the reality that many of these coins were lost to circulation, corrosion or mishandling, while only a few were preserved unknowingly by collectors who saw something special long before the market caught up. The story of the 1984 Liberty 1 cent is also the story of the American dream, where something small, ordinary and ignored becomes extraordinary through time, knowledge and vision. And in today's market the demand continues to rise as collectors worldwide search through old rolls, estate collections and inherited jars, hoping to uncover this hidden giant. Prices have steadily climbed as awareness spreads and major collectors compete for the finest known examples, pushing values higher and higher, and experts believe that the ceiling has not yet been reached because once these coins are locked into private collections they rarely return to the open market, making each appearance an event that sends shockwaves through the numismatic world. This is why serious collectors pay attention to condition, originality and verified grading, because authenticity and preservation are everything when dealing with a coin of this magnitude. The Liberty 1 cent of 1984 is no longer just a penny, it is a symbol of opportunity, history and financial power wrapped into a piece of American metal, and if you own one or dream of finding one you are holding a potential legacy that connects you directly to the heartbeat of United States coin history. So stay with Rare US Coins 1, where we uncover the truth behind rare American coins, reveal real market values and help you understand why some of the smallest coins can carry the biggest fortunes. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, remember to like, subscribe and share, because the next rare coin story might already be waiting in your pocket. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern American coins that collectors are hunting for right now, the Liberty 1 cent 1988D, a humble copper-colored penny that at first glance looks ordinary, but behind its surface hides a story of American history, minting precision, rare survival, collector passion, and an astonishing current market value that can reach an unbelievable $779,331, making this coin one of the most talked about Lincoln-era cents among serious numismatists and investors alike, because the 1988D Liberty 1 cent was struck during a transitional period in U.S. coinage when the United States Mint was refining its production techniques, adjusting metal compositions introduced earlier in the decade, and pushing massive quantities of cents into circulation to fuel a growing economy. Yet within these enormous mintages, a tiny number of exceptional coins emerged with extraordinary characteristics, pristine condition, rare die varieties, and near-perfect strikes that elevate them from everyday change to museum-level treasures. And when you understand the history behind the Liberty 1 cent design, originally introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln as a symbol of unity, resilience, and American values, you begin to appreciate how even a late 20th century cent like the 1988D connects directly to a tradition that stretches back more than a century, making each surviving example a small piece of the American story. But what truly Separates the 1988D from the millions of other pennies minted in Denver that year is not just age, but rarity and perfection, because most 1988D cents were heavily circulated, scratched, oxidized, or poorly struck, while only an extremely small number survived in flawless mint state condition with sharp details on Lincoln's portrait, full luster blazing across the fields, and razor-clean surfaces free from contact marks, and these are the coins that grading services reward with the highest possible grades, turning a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure legend, and collectors know that condition is everything, because the difference between an average circulated example and a top population mint state specimen can be the difference between 1 cent and $779,331, and when auction houses showcase such a coin, bidding wars erupt as collectors, investors, and registry-set builders compete fiercely to own a piece that almost no one else can ever obtain, driving prices higher and solidifying the 1988D Liberty 1 cent as a modern classic in the U.S. coin market, and the Denver Mint itself plays a critical role in this story, as the D Mint mark represents a facility known for high-speed production, meaning slight misalignments, pressure inconsistencies, or microscopic errors could occur, and when these errors combine with exceptional preservation, they create the kind of rarity that fuels collector obsession, because numismatics is not just about metal, it is about survival against odds, and the odds of a 1988D cent surviving untouched for decades are incredibly small, which is why top examples are treated like crown jewels, stored in climate-controlled vaults, and traded quietly among elite collectors, while the broader market watches in awe as prices continue to rise. And speaking of the market, the current value of $779,331 reflects not just the coin itself, but the powerful demand for high-grade modern U.S. coins, a demand driven by new collectors entering the hobby, seasoned experts upgrading their sets, and investors seeking tangible assets with historical significance, and unlike paper assets, a rare coin like the 1988D Liberty 1 cent cannot be duplicated, reprinted, or digitally recreated, making its scarcity absolute. Which is why many experts believe that coins of this caliber may continue to appreciate as fewer examples remain available for sale, and when you hold one of these cents, you are holding more than copper and zinc, you are holding a snapshot of American industry, artistry, and economics from the late 1980s, a time when the nation was changing, yet still producing coins that would one day shock the world with their value, and this is why collectors are encouraged to check their old penny jars, bank rolls, and inherited collections carefully, because while most 1988D cents are common, the rare exceptional ones can transform a life overnight. And that is the magic of numismatics, where patience, knowledge, and a little luck can turn spare change into generational wealth, and here on Rare U.S. Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern American coins ever struck, the Liberty 1 cent coin USA 2005D, a coin that many people still overlook, a coin that has passed through countless hands, yet a coin that in the right condition and with the right story behind it is now connected to an astonishing market value of $779,332, making it one of the most talked about and emotionally charged Lincoln cent issues among collectors who truly understand the modern rarity market. Because the 2005D Liberty 1 cent was minted during a crucial transitional era in United States coinage history when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with finishes, striking pressure, and die longevity, and while millions were produced at the Denver Mint, only a microscopic fraction survived with the sharp strike, pristine surfaces, and flawless details that separate a common penny from a legendary collectible, and this is exactly why this coin has captured the attention of elite numismatists, long-term investors, and serious collectors worldwide, because the Liberty 1 cent design represents far more than a simple denomination, it represents American endurance, economic evolution, and the spirit of liberty that has appeared on U.S. coinage for more than a century, and in 2005 the Lincoln cent carried a powerful legacy that dated all the way back to 1909, when Victor David Brenner's iconic design first honored Abraham Lincoln, a design that would become the longest-running portrait on American currency, and by the time the 2005D issue was struck, the Lincoln cent had become a cultural symbol recognized across the globe, yet what makes this specific Denver minted coin so extraordinary is not just its history but its condition rarity, because coins from 2005 were heavily circulated, often mishandled, poorly stored, and rarely preserved in top-grade mint state, and when a 2005D Liberty 1 cent emerges with razor-sharp lettering, full original luster, strong strike on Lincoln's hair and coat, and an immaculate reverse with bold wheat or memorial details depending on the variant, collectors immediately recognize its scarcity, and this is where the market explodes, because in the high-end certified market, perfection is everything, and a single microscopic flaw can mean the difference between a face-value cent and a coin valued at $779,332. And this number is not just a price, it is a reflection of demand, competition, and the emotional drive of collectors who are willing to pay extraordinary money to own the finest known example of a modern issue, and the Denver Mint mark itself adds another layer of desirability, because D-Mint cents from this era are notorious for inconsistent quality control, making flawless survivors exceptionally rare, and when such a coin is authenticated and graded at the highest levels, it instantly enters a different universe of collecting, one where modern coins rival classic rarities, and this is why the Liberty 1 cent 2005D is now discussed in the same breath as legendary penny varieties, because the modern market has proven again and again that rarity is not only about age, it is about survival, condition, and demand, and today investors are no longer ignoring modern cents, they are actively hunting them, because they understand that tomorrow's 6-figure and 7-figure coins are often hiding in plain sight today, and the current market value of $779,332 reflects this shift in mindset, showing us that knowledge is power in numismatics, and that those who recognize importance early are the ones who benefit the most, and this coin also tells a powerful story about American daily life in the early 2000s, a time of economic change, technological growth, and global uncertainty, when this humble cent moved through vending machines, cash registers, and pockets without anyone realizing its future potential. And now as collectors look back, they see it not just as currency but as a time capsule, frozen in copper-plated zinc, carrying the fingerprints of history, and this is why the Liberty 1 cent 2005D continues to rise in attention and prestige, because it combines accessibility with extreme rarity, familiarity with exclusivity, and nostalgia with serious financial value, making it one of the most exciting coins to discuss on Rare U.S. Coins, the channel dedicated to revealing the truth behind America's most underrated treasures, and if you have ever wondered whether a simple penny Could change your life. This coin proves that it absolutely can, because somewhere out there, in an old roll, a forgotten collection, or a dusty drawer, another example may still exist, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be recognized, and waiting to remind the world that even the smallest coin can carry the greatest value. And that is why the Liberty 1-cent coin USA 2005D stands today not as spare change, but as a symbol of opportunity, history, and the incredible power of numismatic knowledge right here on Rare US Coins.